Midterm elections begin with next week's primaries.
KU sees another decline of tenured professors.
And Lawrence officials are trying to reduce the number of the homeless.
All this and more coming up on the JMC 699 Summer Edition of Good Morning KU.
Hello and welcome to Good Morning KU JMC 699 edition. I'm Nicole Klabanskaya.
And I'm Abby Shepard.
We have less than a week left in the summer semester, and we've decided to spend our second to last day on campus bringing you the latest news at the University of Kansas. Abby, what's happening this month?
Thanks, Nicole. This week I spent some time talking to local young people about the upcoming midterms and how they're getting involved. Midterms are right around the corner, and local campaigns have only increased their efforts to reach voters. Young people are at the forefront of many of these campaigns, including in Lawrence. KU sophomore Donovan Dillon is helping Kansas Representative Christina Haswood prepare for midterms. To learn how young people can become more engaged, you could study Dillon's path to political involvement. He said he used to be shy, but decided to socially branch out and become involved in different groups, including political ones in middle school. Dillon said his eyes were open to different issues that affected the people and groups he cared about. Incoming KU freshman Kenna McNally is also working for Haswood's campaign, and her passion for politics stems from voter registration. She wants to make sure everyone she knows is registered to vote. Meanwhile, Paige Harding is a KU alumna and has worked for the Kansas Republican Party for about 2 years. She started getting politically involved during her time at KU. Political activism does come with a cost, according to Harding, and she said while her friends went out to the bars in college, she could often be found working instead. However, she said her work did pay off. The primaries are less than 1 week away, and Kansas voters will have the opportunity to vote on a historic issue, the Value Them Both Amendment. If passed, the amendment would alter the state constitution, government funding for abortion, as well as the right to an abortion. The biggest issue in November for Kansans will be the governor's race. Following the primary election, incumbent Governor Laura Kelly will likely face off against the leading Republican, Derek Schmidt.
Thanks, Abby. It's been super interesting to see how much activism the amendment has spurred and how many protests have been going on throughout the month. So what'll happen if the Value Them Both amendment does pass? Do you see there being even more protests than there are now?
Yeah, there's no doubt there will be protests if the Value Them Both amendment passes or does not pass. If yes votes win, this will open the door for the Kansas legislature to create laws on abortion rights. It remains uncertain if Governor Laura Kelly, if reelected, would be able to veto any of this legislation. If Schmidt is elected, it's certain he would support any anti-abortion legislation. So, Nicole, what have you been covering this week?
Right, thanks, Abby. Many students at the University of Kansas get the opportunity to do research and take classes taught by professors at the top of their academic fields. But students are moving back to campus in the fall, coming off of a year in which the number of tenured professors for them to learn from is at record lows, according to a KU American Association of University Professors data analysis published in their spring newsletter. From 2009 to 21, the university saw a 34.1% drop in assistant, associate, and full and distinguished professors at the university without administrative appointments from 1,015 professors in 2009 to 669 in 2021. That's the lowest it's been since 1968, according to AAUP's data. Aerospace engineering professor and Kansas AAUP Committee A co-chair Ronald Barrett Gonzalez compiled this data and uncovered these trends throughout the course of about 4 months. He used data parsing to count the number of professors per category listed within public payroll records, and also looked at professors counted in a historical publication archived at Anschutz's library. Barrett Gonzalez and other KU AAUP leaders are concerned about the decreased numbers. The university says it is implementing a number of measures to strategically hire and retain faculty members, and that it has not laid off any tenured or tenure-track faculty members due to budget. 2021 is the latest year for which the state of Kansas has released payroll data, but the university has also hired 34 tenure-track assistant professors, as well as 6 tenured associate professors and 7 tenured full professors for the 2022 to 2023 academic year, according to university spokeswoman Erin Barcombe-Peterson. Stay tuned for an article that will be published soon in the University Daily Kansan to learn more about what these decreased numbers mean for the university.
It's really interesting to see the drop in professors without administrative appointments at KU. So are tenured professors the only professors at the university?
Yeah, great question, Abby. So actually there are non-tenured professors at the university, such as lecturers, adjunct professors, and professors of the practice. However, AAUP leaders say that tenured professors, such as distinguished professors, full professors, and assistant professors, directly contribute to the international and national reputation of the university. But one of my sources tells me that throughout her entire time at the university, one of the classes that she learned the most from was taught by a lecturer, which is a non-tenured position. The university spokeswoman also says that the university will hire 36 additional non-tenured faculty members for next academic year as well.
Thanks, Nicole. Next, we hear from Marlon Martinez as he looks at problems facing the unhoused population in Lawrence.
The annual point-in-time survey accounted just near 200 suffering from homelessness in 2022. But Planning and Development Project Specialist Cicely Thornton believes the numbers are inaccurate.
I think Jen and I have determined that that may be a little low. I think our best guess is somewhere between 270 and 290 is probably where we're sitting at.
The city of Lawrence has seen an increase of unsheltered people according to their past 10-year point-in-count survey. Homeless program coordinator Jen Woolsey says it's the cost of living in Douglas County.
A lot of times when I do groups, I'll do like a pop quiz question, what's the #1 cause of homelessness? And everybody usually says mental health or substance usage disorder. Those are your normal two, right? And the actual right answer is unaffordable housing.
The living cost for a single individual household must make around $16.65. That's with no children. Lauren Henderson is the director of the DARE Center in Lawrence, providing resources for those unhoused.
It just seemed to me that one of the things that was missing, Lawrence has a lot of good agencies working on this issue, but one thing that was missing was this drop-in center.
Henderson says just last year his center served around 454 individuals, providing them with needs like coffee, water, and laundry machines. The city commissioners are now working to eventually lower the number of unhoused down to 0.
The fact that we're being progressive is great. We need to put action behind those conversations.
Reporting from Lawrence, Kansas, Marlon Martinez, Good Morning KU.
Thanks, Marlon. After the break, Gavin and Brittany will be here to discuss the current music scene in Lawrence.
Please keep watching.
Welcome back. I'm Gavin.
And I'm Brittany. Hey Gavin, so what are you listening to lately?
I've been listening to Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy. What about you?
I'm always jamming to Doechii. Her newest collab on Persuasive with SZA is amazing, and locally I'm really into flooding right now.
Doechii, I've heard of her. She has a song with Isaiah Rashad that I love, and SZA's awesome, so I'll definitely have to check that out. Speaking of collaborations, there's been a rapid rise in the number of featured artists in popular music today. The 80s were considered somewhat of a golden age for collaborations, with hits like Queen and David Bowie's Under Pressure. In the so-called golden age, an average of 7 collaborations were featured in the monthly top 100s. Today, there are 29 collaborations in the top 100s.
That's interesting. Why do you think it's increased?
I think part of it is social media, and collaborations are just huge for audience growth. By collaborating with other artists, musicians are able to reach new audiences.
And growing your audience is crucial to making money from your music. Lots of local artists collaborate on lineups to attract a bigger crowd at shows. A downtown Lawrence house venue called the Toilet Bowl popped up this year. Members of the band Flooding and their roommate Emma Hopkins are in charge of the venue. At their show last Friday, the Toilet Bowl collected $250 split between the 4 performing artists, who each walked away with $62.
A house venue? What's that?
So it's not like a traditional venue in that there isn't a door person collecting a cover charge. It's more of a basement with speakers vibe. Emma Hopkins, who lives there, says the Toilet Bowl has a pay what you can policy. She books artists mostly through social media, reaching out via direct messages to local and touring artists, offering them the space to perform.
That sounds really cool. Social media is so important to collaboration and music in general. So much so that artists have complained recently that labels won't allow them to release their music until they've grown their media presence. The singer Halsey said that she has music she wants to release, but the label won't allow her to until she has a viral moment on TikTok.
Social media has been crucial for the Toilet Bowl. Their Instagram account has almost 1,000 followers since its debut 6 months ago. Their follower count is greater than the maximum capacity at local bars The Replay, Taproom, and Bottleneck combined. At the Friday show, there were close to 100 people there. If every person who was there paid just $5, the 4 artists could have made double what they did. And when you think about it, millions of people pay $10 a month for Spotify Premium. If people paid half of that for local music, it would only bring better music to the Lawrence scene.
It's so true that we need to pay our local artists, and house venues and live shows are a great way for them to support them. I'm happy we can get back to live events like those.
So true. And speaking of in-person events, Kansas City hosted a rowing competition between UMKC and KU at an annual event called the Dragon Boat Festival this summer. JMC's 415's Abdullah Alwed brings us a story of this unique border showdown.
This is the EEC boat coming in.
KU wins again. This time, it is not a traditional basketball game. It is the Dragon Boat Festival. UMKC did not give up the fight easily.
And we beat them the first time that we raced, and then came around this and they beat us, which is okay. Everyone did an awesome job. We're a good sport. Kind of a little like competition between KU and UMKC, but overall, everyone did an awesome job.
In boat races, a wrong move from one team rower could render the whole team in the water, and this is what happened.
There was a boat that fell over, capsized, and fortunately we were not that team that capsized.
Although UMKC lost, Enactus is still proud of its initial victory against KU.
Which is honestly surprising to me because this was my first year and first time trying this even, and I was the steerer for my boat.
Here from Kansas City, Missouri, Abdullah Al-Ohad, J415.
Give it a cheer in.
Thanks, Abdullah. I'm not exactly sure if that was a sports story or not, but coming up after the break, Bradley will be here to tell us what's happening this summer in KU athletics.
Please keep watching.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
He's capable, 4 seconds, create something to get a 3.
And Brown on Manick, and here we go. Manick circling around, he slipped underneath. They go to Love. Love's going to be the one to take it. Puts up the shot, it's off! The game is over! And Kansas completes the biggest championship comeback.
Can you believe that was over 4 months ago? A lot has happened in the Kansas sports offseason, and some players will have some new jerseys in October. On June 23rd, Ochai Agbaji and Christian Brown were both drafted to the NBA in the first round.
With the 14th pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Ochai Agbaji from the University of Kansas.
Agbaji was selected 14th overall to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Christian Brown will be heading to Denver next season after being selected 21st by the Nuggets.
And with the 21st pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Christian Brown from the University of Kansas.
Kansas has not had 2 players selected in the first round for an NBA draft since 2014 when Andrew Wiggins went first overall and Joel Embiid was selected 3rd. Agbaji is also the first lottery pick since Josh Jackson in 2017. The first game of the 2022 NBA season will be on October 18th. Back on the Kansas side of things, Abaji was named the Big 12 Male Athlete of the Year over the weekend. His dominating year at Kansas included a variety of other awards, including Consensus All-American. Transitioning over to football, Kansas has been busy in the transfer portal and has the 21st ranked transfer class according to 24/7 Sports. The first game of the season is on September 2nd at 7 p.m. against Tennessee Tech, and some players on the team have been recognized for preseason watch list awards. Running back Devin Neal is on the Doak Walker Award watch list. Senior safety Kenny Logan was selected for the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award watch list. And center Mike Nowitzki has been named to the Remington Trophy watch list for the third straight year. Vegas's over-under win total for next season is set at 2.5, so it's time to see what Lance Leipold and his staff built for the upcoming season. Jayhawk track and field was well represented in the World Championships in July, and the U.S. team won the entire competition with head coach Stanley Redwine and head manager Tim Weaver helping lead Team USA to the most medals in World Athletics history. Kansas also had athlete Hussein Al-Hizalim competing in pole vault, where he did not make it past qualifiers. Flipping to the diamond, Kansas baseball has had a busy offseason with the retiring of head coach Rich Price. The skipper coached 20 years at Kansas and was a key piece in building the program to where it is today. His final words on his retirement statement was, "As I've said so many times, I'm a Jayhawk for life." The Kansas athletic director, Travis Goff, found his replacement in Dan Fitzgerald, who was a recruiting coordinator at LSU this past season prior to being named Kansas' head coach. Before his time at Baton Rouge, Fitzgerald was the head coach of Dallas Baptist, and in 9 seasons, he led the team to 6 40-win seasons. He's been a great developer of talent and should be a great hire for Kansas during the years to come. That's all for sports, and we'll take a short break and get back with Abby and Nicole.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Thanks for joining us today for our Good Morning KU JMC 699 edition. We hope you have some fun the rest of the summer before the fall academic year begins.
If you're looking for somewhere to go or something to do, there's one local spot that often goes unnoticed. JMC 699 reporter Wesley Cudney spent some time this summer at the Wells Overlook just south of Lawrence. Let's take a look.
Here at Wells Overlook, some people believe that this is more than just a pretty view. In fact, they see this as a light brown canvas that is perfect to draw on. Now, while some people may think of these as no more than expressive sayings written onto a public park, the county views this as defacement of public property. In fact, it's a crime. It even costs the county money. It costs the county between $500 and $1,000 to remove just some of this graffiti per cleaning. So naturally, I reached out to the family who donated the land to build this park in the 70s to see what they think about the graffiti problem.
I think you can count on people to do that, and I think you can count on the county to continue to remove it. I think those are both like death and taxes. So I don't find it particularly bothersome either way. You know, I think that people will do that. Like, you know, downtown graffiti is different in some ways than what this is. This is not like a turf type of thing. At least it hasn't been very much. And I think it's more of a just, you know, a group of friends come out and they do their thing, you know, and want to, you know, tell everybody about it.
Thanks, Wesley. I sure hope they can keep that place clean and open for the public.
I agree. And that's going to wrap it up for this show in the summer session. From all of us, thanks for watching.